All right, let me put this on my head. See if we can get it to record. Okay, so posted pictures up earlier on my 48. So here's what it is. Got the GoPro mounted on my head, so hopefully this works this time, because I did it this morning and I did a time-lapse video by mistake. So here it is, a 48 Plymouth business coupe. So it's got no rear seat, extended trunk. I actually like the business coupes better because the roof is a little bit more swept than it is on the coupes. It's got brand new Coker tires. Right off the bat, I'll go ahead and say that the previous owner, like I said in the description, had scuffed and put primer over this blue, this metallic blue, but they didn't scuff good enough, and the first time I went to power wash it, it just started flaking, and it's just been flaking and flaking. They did delete a lot of the side trim. I'm sure there's filler back there. Fender trim is also gone. It's starting to bubble up here, but the backside looks solid. Rear pan is flaking. The rear third brake light actually works. Big trunk space. Just do a quick walk around. In the video from this morning, what I was describing, the things that it needs, I haven't done anything to the car other than put the new tires on it, which maybe have like 100 miles on them, if even that. I'll say I'll probably have 75 miles on them. But again, it's one of those, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of deal. So I've just been enjoying the car, driving it. Drove it all of last year. It has began to drop a little bit of coolant, like you see here this morning. It's got a freeze plug leaking on the passenger side. It's accessible, like in the description I mentioned earlier. It was one of those, it hasn't bugged me enough to where I'm like, all right, let me get in there. So it's, with everything else we got going on, it's kind of a back burner thing for me. Obviously it will need attention, so I'll go ahead and mention that. Previous owner also did some repair down here on these rockers, lower rockers. It's a novice repair. I mean, it could go back and you could go back and correct it or leave it, I don't know. All the lights work. It's got a new harness all the way through. The ornament lights up too. Interior's all there. Oh yeah, the issues. The small freeze plug leak. It's got F100 shock conversion, but the shock over on the front right is blown out. So if you go over a big bump, you could hear it bottom out. The neutral safety switch down to the transmission every now and again will act up, so you'll have to kind of move the shifter to where it'll engage it. Time permitting, I'll probably get up there and just replace it, but hopefully it does what it does when it starts acting up when I start it. So we'll go ahead and take it out for a drive. I'll take it out, get it up on the highway so you can see as well. Nothing fancy here other than a good running 318. Automatic transmission, 8 3/4 rear end. Basically everything came out of like a 70s Challenger, I believe. They had some info here, which I think it's still in here. That's alignment stuff. I believe there was some stuff in here that showed what the motor came out of. There's a freeze plug right there. But anyways, we'll take it out for a drive. Yeah, and hopefully the video acts up too, because I don't know. I got an extra battery with me, so if it dies, I'll have to pick back up where we left off. David, could you close that door for me? And get my brother to close this door. Can you close the door whenever?
Yeah.
So we'll see. Ignition is over here on the left. All the lights work. Horn works. Here's the fan button. Fan comes on. Oh, another thing that I was gonna mention, get out of here first, is the temperature gauge that's on the dash. It's a Stewart Warner gauge, but the range is very wide. So like it shows 180 and then the next hash is 240. The gauge has started to act up lately where it'll read like it's 240 degrees, but I know it's not running hot because I actually put a thermostat on the radiator, a gauge on one of those caps that showed the temperature, and it was 200, so it's like 40 degrees off. So just so you know, like right now the car's cold and it's reading 130. But again, ignore the gauge is going out. The gauge on the radiator is good. It's got no power steering, disc brakes up front. Ouch. They're redoing this whole street, all the sewage. Yeah, disc brake up front, drums in the rear, no power steering, which at first it's a little aggravating, but you get used to it. It hasn't bothered me. Oh, I didn't even bring my phone. Great. Thought I brought my phone, but I didn't. And hopefully the camera cooperates. So I made this video this morning, did the exact route, got up on the highway, get back to the shop, and I realized it was on time warp, so it wasn't even recording, it was just a time warp video. So I'm going to take my lunch hour right now and just kind of do this video again so I can post it up on YouTube. One thing I had said earlier was that I commend those people that have YouTube channels, because they're just very natural when they talk, and they're very natural in front of a camera. But it's very odd for me to just sit here and start talking to myself. Well, I'm talking to you guys, but it feels like I'm talking to myself, and people are probably like, what is he doing? So it's a good little car. I think somebody enjoy it. What attracted me to the Mopars is they're like half the price of what a Chevy or a Ford is same year. So if you're looking at it, it's because you're in a Mopars, or if you're looking at it at the car, it's because the price range is probably within point. I know when I bought it a year and a half ago, I was looking for a late 40s Chevy, but everything was pricey, so I was like, no, can't afford that. I had a certain budget I want to stay in. And I wanted something that I could just drive, because running the shop, I don't have any time to work on a project. I sold a 37 that I was building midway because I just never had time to work on it. So when I bought this, I was looking for something that I could just enjoy it and fix on it as I go. And the car's just been really good that I really haven't had to do anything, so I've just been driving it. But long story short, what I was saying is, I was originally looking for a Chevy or a Ford, but the price was almost like twice as much as what a Mopar runs. And I guess just, I don't know, maybe that's just the way it is. Fords and Chevys are a little bit more expensive than Mopars. But I like the styling on the Mopars better, to be honest with you. Like, for one example, this division bar here, you know, it goes down with the window, and when you open your quarter glass, you have no division bar, so it's like all one piece. I thought that was pretty cool. Let's see, it's got new seals, new glass seals, new felts, both doors, headliners obviously new the older gentleman that I bought it from took really good care of it. I flew into Cleveland, bought the car, and drove it all the way back to Dallas. So it just speaks for the car itself, I guess. And a lot of people ask, well, why are you selling it? You know, that's kind of like the go-to question anytime anyone's selling anything nowadays. And the answer really is kind of twofold. I guess it's just time for something new. Maybe a truck this time. I always go back and forth between cars and trucks, and I think I'm ready for a truck. Again, something that I can drive. So what I'll do is I'll get on the highway, and then I'll exit, and I'll probably shut the camera off because I think we might be going to like 10-15 minutes. And then I'll get back to the shop and upload the video. Speedometer is down at the bottom. Temperature, oil, fuel, and voltage. None of the gauges on the dash work. We're doing, it says 80, but I think we're like 10 miles an hour off, so we're probably doing like 70. But even at that point, I mean, it's, you know, I'm hands off. She's driving, so she's good. I mean, you get the wind gust, and yeah, it'll move you, and it'll drive like a 40s car. But I mean, doing 70, hands off, steering wheel's good. Turn signal indicators are down here on the dash as well. There's the right one blinking, and then left blinker over here. We're gonna go, yeah, we'll go straight. I gotta make an errand, so I'll stop over here. Like I said, my price is $11,500 or best offer. I have the title. Oh, wipers work too. Where's it at? Sorry, wipers. Headlight switch is down at the bottom, down here. Horn, wipers, fan. That's really it. The cow vent. And hopefully this camera's still recording. I haven't just been talking to myself the last 5 minutes, because I know these GoPros, like the camera, I haven't changed the settings on the camera since I bought it, so it's like on the high resolution, and it just sucks the battery down fast. It's got power seats. When I first looked at the car, I told myself, man, I'm ripping those bucket seats out and I'm putting a bench seat in it. But after like the first 300 miles being on the road coming back from Cleveland, man, the adjustability on the seat, I was kind of a fan. I was like, all right, these feel pretty good. So they've stayed in the car. I did take the headrests out of them just to kind of make them a little less cheesy. And for those people that, before, I've sold other cars, other projects that I've had, running cars, and some people are like, hey, why are you braking with your left and driving with your right? That's just the way I've always driven, so I guess I'll do it normal. I don't know, that just always seems to stand out at people. Like, are you braking because you need to like make sure the brakes are working, or what? But no, I just always have driven two-footed. I'm gonna probably pull in here, shut the camera off, and then I gotta run to Hobby Lobby. And maybe after I leave Hobby Lobby, I will pick the camera back up. And if I have enough battery or swap batteries, I brought another one with me. Maybe we'll do a drive back home. Oh, let's just go. Actually, I think I was gonna pull in here, but I think there's a pretty quick route to get to the Hobby Lobby back this way. know if you can hear that shock in the video, but it just kind of, you could hear it bottoming out. Yeah. For some reason I thought Hobby Lobby was further. It's right here. Right there, you probably heard the shock. So, okay, so here's what I was saying about the gauge. See the gauge? I don't know if you can see it in this video or not, but it's jumping between 180 and 240. That's like a huge range. That's like 60 degrees. So the accuracy is not very accurate, because it's, like I said, it's a 60-degree range. But I'll get out here in a little bit and open up the hood so you can see the temperature, which shows the temperature is within range. So like right there, it's at almost 240. And I'll show the see, it says 140. So it's within, I mean, it's not overheating. So I wanted to make that known. So let me take this thing off my head and then go inside, and then I'll run it back home. Okay, I got what I needed from Hobby Lobby. So let me throw this back on my head. It's got 25%. So hopefully it'll make it all the way home, and we'll see if it'll do. Okay. All right, let's get out of here. Make sure we don't run anybody over. We'll go this way. When I left the shop, I could see the angle of the camera, but right now I think it may be tipped or tilted too far. So you have to forgive me if the angle's a little weird. Remember what I said in that very first, like this morning when I did the video for the first time, like I had everything scripted, I had everything, it was perfect. And now that I'm having to redo the video again, I'm like trying to remember everything I said. I think I already talked about the issues that the car has. The freeze plug leaking, the shock on the right side, the intermittent issue with the start and the neutral safety switch. I think that was it. Like I said, I'm gonna sell it, give it something else. My plan for this car, I didn't really care about the body. When I saw pictures of it, obviously it was flat primer, and I was like, all right, that's fine. You know, I'll either paint it later or patina it or cotina it. So that's probably going to be one of the biggest turnoffs for whoever's looking at the car, unless you know somebody that can paint, or you yourself knows how to paint, can throw some paint down on the car pretty quickly. So hopefully that doesn't discourage anybody from the car. But if you're looking for a good entry-level car to just get in and enjoy and go drive, I think this is a great car for that. If you can live without the rear seats, which, like me personally, I have 2 kids, so all the other cars I've ever owned, we've always had a 4-seater car. But on these coupes, like I said, I just like the way the business coupe looks like, because it just flows a little better than the normal coupe. So if you can live with the paint flaking until you or someone paints it, you can live with no back seat. If you look at it this way, you have a lot of room in the trunk for other activities. You can put lawn chairs, a couple dead bodies back there, probably 3 kegs of beer. Time permitting, I may even drive this down a Roundup if it hasn't sold by then, and just put a for sale sign down at Roundup. Be a good idea. I'm gonna assume that the battery is still working on this. Oh, I know what the other thing was. If you drive it consistently, you'll notice that it'll drip. There'll be a little dot of oil on the driver's side, and that's coming from the PCV on the valve cover on this side. It's got finned cover, so it just sweats oil, and after it accumulates, it'll just kind of run down. It doesn't leak oil. You'll notice that. If you're looking to buy an old car, either you've already owned one or you know what it's like to drive an old car. You get a lot of new timer, or a lot of new guys that want something old, but they never have owned anything old. They're all gonna leak. Every car is gonna leak, so just be mindful of that. If it ain't leaking, it probably doesn't have any oil. See, there's the temp gauge. I don't know if you can see it. I don't even know if the camera's still working, to be honest with you. But you can see it kind of just fluctuating. There's a sticker on that car that says Daddy's Money. What is that, a Mercedes? Yeah, it's a Mercedes. Hey, at least he admits it. Or maybe it's a sheep. Who knows? The other thing too is, like, there's no odd strong smells, you know, like a lot of the times the older cars just reeks of like fuel, and this one not at all. Speaking of leaks or reeks, sorry, oof, this weather. When I was driving it back from Cleveland, we hit a really bad rainstorm, and the only leak that I could see was right here. The water would puddle up, drip in, and kind of run off to the side. But nowhere else was it leaking. If I talked about the rear, the suspension has got drop blocks in the rear, and the front's down a little bit, but I'm like, oh, I think the previous owner had put I want to say Astro band springs or something, but it came down about an inch up front and then drop blocks in the rear. I put tires on it, in case you're wondering why I put tires on it. Now I'm selling it. It had black walls when I bought the car, and I ordered the white walls man, probably like late November, early December. And Coker had a back order of like 3 months. So I finally got the tires about a month ago, put them on. But that's the reason. I said all that to say that the alignment's really good on the car. It never chewed up the other tires, and the other tires I ran all the way from Cleveland back to Dallas, and then I drove the car all year last year, and it was fine. So there's no wear or anything like that. And the alignment specs are actually in one of those sheets that are in the glove box. Ooh, oh, that was a big bump. My driveway's not any better. Cool. So I left my phone. My phone?
Yeah, I tried to chase you.
Oh, did you? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I went to Hobby Lobby. Is it still recording? Think so?
It's got the red light.
All right, good. Cool.
Yeah, I was like, you were backing out, and I was like, your phone?
Yeah.